Welcome. You are listening to Aftersight. This recording is intended solely for individuals who are blind or have low vision.
Thank you for joining us for the Sterling News, read by Nefeli Schneider. Today we will be reading the following main articles. Trump, Harris spar over economy, abortion rights, and other top issues in historic debate. Airport fire swells to 22,000 acres in Orange and Riverside counties, forcing evacuations, road closures, and impinging on structures. Proponents hope Prop 145 will ease rural veterinary shortage. Trump, Harris spar over economy, abortion rights, and other top issues in historic debate. The debate comes with early voting poised to begin in some states within days. This article is by Jenny Leonard, Riley Griffin, and Josh Wingrove from the Bloomberg News. Democrat Kamala Harris opened her presidential debate with Republican Donald Trump by touting her economic agenda, saying she was the only candidate on stage with a plan focused on lifting up the middle class and working people of America. Harris addressed one of her biggest electoral vulnerabilities, high prices and costs that have hammered U.S. households and left voters skeptical of President Joe Biden's economic agenda. The vice president noted her plans for expanding the child tax credit, offering mortgage assistance to new home buyers, and a deduction for small businesses, while attacking Trump over his proposed tariff policy. The cost for housing is too expensive for far too many people, we know, Harris said at Tuesday's debate in Philadelphia, hosted by ABC News. She defended the administration's efforts on the economy, saying she and Biden had to clean up Donald Trump's mess. I had tariffs, yet I had no inflation, Trump countered. Look, we've had a terrible economy because inflation, which is really known as a country buster. It breaks up countries. We have inflation like very few people have ever seen before. Trump, in his opening remarks, criticized Harris over the border, pointing to Springfield, Ohio, a town where an influx of Haitian immigrants had spurred widespread coverage, particularly in conservative outlets. Migrants are taking over the towns. They're taking over buildings. They're going in violently, he said, a bit to pivot the conversation to immigration policy, another issue where polls show voters disapprove of the Biden administration's response. Later in the debate, Trump returned to the town, floating an unsubstantiated conspiracy theory that migrants were eating pets and earning a laugh from Harris. The people on television say my dog was taken and used for food, Trump said. The people on television are saying my dog was eaten by the people that went there. Talk about extreme, Harris responded. The former president was on the defensive early, distancing himself from Project 2025, a conservative blueprint for his second term written by some of his closest allies, but which he has disavowed in the face of Democratic attacks. I haven't read it. I don't want to read it. Purposely, I'm not going to read it, Trump said after Harris jabbed him over the initiative. This was a group of people that got together. They came up with some ideas, I guess. Some good, some bad, but it makes no difference. Abortion rights. Trump and Harris also clashed at length over abortion, an issue Democrats believe will mobilize suburban women and independents in the wake of the Supreme Court's decision to overturn Roe v. Wade, spurring restrictions on the procedure in states across the country. Harris labeled abortion restrictions adopted by states in the aftermath of the ruling Trump abortion bans, and said the former president was responsible for situations where women have denied abortion care or access to IVF. She repeatedly pressed Trump on whether he would veto a bill imposing a national restriction on abortion. Trump abortion bans make no exception, even for rape and incest, Harris said, prompting Trump to call her a liar. Trump said that while he's not in favor of abortion, the issue is now up to the states, an approach he said he shares with former President Ronald Reagan. Asked by the moderators if he would veto a national abortion ban, Trump deflected, stating, "I wouldn't have to." They wanted to get it out of Congress and out of the federal government, and we did something that everybody said couldn't be done, Trump said. Trump, for his part, claimed Harris would allow late-term or even post-birth abortion, earning a rebuke from the moderator, who noted no state allowed the killing of a baby post-birth. Nowhere in America is a woman carrying a pregnancy to term and in asking for an abortion that is not happening, Harris said. It's insulting to the women of America and understand what has been happening under Donald Trump's abortion ban. Trump nominated 3 of the justices who voted to overturn Roe and has used that ruling to cement his grip on evangelical voters and the Republican Party. But he's also tried to neutralize abortion as an election issue in a bid to expand his electoral appeal, criticizing GOP messaging on the issue and declining to endorse a national ban backed by evangelical leaders. Harris also expanded the conversation beyond abortion to fertility treatments. Democrats have warned that abortion rulings could also threaten fertility treatments, such as in vitro fertilization. Couples who pray and dream of having a family are being denied IVF treatment, Harris said. Trump, in response, claimed to be a leader on IVF. He has vowed to mandate that the federal government or insurance companies cover the entire costs of in vitro fertilization. Exchanging jabs. Trump spoke at length about the violent January 6, 2021 attack on the U.S. Capitol by supporters seeking to block the certification of Biden's 2020 election victory. Trump mourned the shooting death of protester Ashley Babbitt as a disgrace and blamed former House Speaker Nancy Pelosi for not doing more to secure the situation. Trump also attacked Harris for backtracking on some of her past policies. The vice president has distanced herself from some policies she supported in the 2020 presidential cycle when she sought her party's nomination. Everything she believed 3 years ago or 4 years ago is out the window, Trump said. She's a Marxist. Everybody knows she's a Marxist. As Trump delivered his job, Harris brought a hand to her chin and stared at the former president quizzically. She also repeatedly shook her head in disbelief at Trump. The contentious nature of the debate followed a fight between the campaigns over the forum's rules, with Harris's team seeking and failing to get an agreement to allow microphones to remain live, even when it was not a candidate's turn to speak, a bid to have audiences hear Trump's potential interjections. Harris baited Trump by suggesting his iconic political rallies no longer have the same pull, even among his supporters. "I'm going to invite you to attend one of Donald Trump's rallies," she said, noting that he regularly talks about fictional characters like Hannibal Lecter. You will also notice is people starting to leave his rallies early out of exhaustion and boredom. And I will tell you, the one thing you will not hear him talk about is you. Trump, who was asked about the border, instead veered back to the rallies in his response. "People don't go to her rallies. There's no reason to go," he said. Both Harris and Trump have attracted thousands of supporters to their rallies. "We have the biggest rallies but most incredible rallies in the history of politics," Trump said. The Republican presidential nominee at one point bristled at Harris's attempt to interject. "I'm talking now, if you don't mind, please. Does that sound familiar?" he said. Trump's remark referred to a viral moment in Harris's 2020 vice presidential debate with Republican Mike Pence, where she told him, "I'm speaking." Pivotal debate. The debate, potentially the only face-to-face showdown between Harris and Trump this cycle, comes with early voting poised to begin in some states within days, and as polls show, the two candidates locked in a tight contest. Hanging over Tuesday's event was the shadow of one of the most consequential debates of modern U.S. history, a June forum where Biden delivered a calamitous performance against Trump, leading to his replacement by Harris atop the Democratic ticket. Harris and Trump on stage highlighted what has already been a tumultuous and unprecedented contest. Harris, 59, is seeking to be the first black woman and first Asian American U.S. president. Trump, 78, is in his third race for the White House, looking to return to power as the first former president convicted of a felony and with an agenda that offers to test the boundaries of U.S. political norms. The stakes are high for both in an already tumultuous presidential contest with Election Day less than 2 months away. Surveys show a deadlocked race, with Trump and Harris jockeying for advantage in the 7 battlegrounds likely to determine November's outcome. Harris is leading or tied with Trump in each of the 7 states, according to an August Bloomberg News Morning Consult survey of voters. Airport fire swells to 22,000 acres in Orange and Riverside counties, forcing evacuations, road closures, and impinging on structures. This article is by Nathaniel Percy, Sean Emery, Sidney Berrigan, and Michael Slayton. A fast-moving wildfire accidentally sparked this week by heavy equipment in Trabuco Canyon in Orange County grew Wednesday to more than 22,000 acres, forcing evacuations, threatening communications equipment on Santiago Peak, shutting down roads, including part of Ortega Highway, and stretching firefighting resources thin in a region plagued by days of searing heat, authorities said. CAL FIRE officials reported early Wednesday, September 11th, that the airport fire had swelled to 22,376 acres, racing through wildland in both Orange and Riverside counties, with no containment reported. Officials said the flames had crossed Ortega Highway, a main thoroughfare in the region, and were actively impinging on structures in the area. But it was unclear how many structures were involved or to what degree they were damaged. Several other roads also were closed, and temporary evacuation centers were set up in various spots in both Orange and Riverside counties for both people and animals that were potentially in harm's way. More than 600 firefighters were battling the flames, aided by helicopters and air tankers, as first responders sought to protect homes and businesses throughout the area. Authorities said the fire began Monday afternoon as Orange County Public Works crews were putting boulders in place to prevent access to vegetation. But a spark from the heavy equipment started a wildfire, which then spread uncontrollably. It was first reported just before 1:30 p.m. Monday in the 32200 block of Trabuco Creek Road, Orange County Fire Authority Deputy Chief T.J. McGovern said. Early Tuesday, the blaze was burning towards the north and the east in the direction of the Ortega Highway and Riverside County and away from Rancho Santa Margarita, Captain Paul Holliday of the Orange County Fire Authority said. Later in the afternoon, the fire jumped Ortega Highway and caused several areas in Riverside to be under evacuation orders. OCFA Chief Brian Fennessy said there is a strain on personnel because of the several large fires raging to the region, including the line fire in the San Bernardino National Forest and the bridge fire in the Angeles National Forest, which are competing for resources. Tal Hayes, fire chief for the Cleveland National Forest, said they are trying to survey damage to 36 cabins in Trabuco and Silverado canyons. There has been no damage to homes, Captain Holliday said. What caused the airport fire? The blaze was believed to have started unintentionally from the use of heavy equipment by an Orange County Public Works crew while placing boulders meant to replace barriers to restrict access to vegetation. It was first reported just before 1:30 p.m. Monday in the 32200 block of Trabuco Creek Road, Orange County Fire Authority Deputy Chief T.J. McGovern said. The cause of the fire was a spark from heavy equipment, McGovern said on Monday. After placing a load of boulders, the operators began seeing smoke coming from the area of the loader's basket. In 8 hours, the blaze exploded to nearly 5,500 acres with no containment, burning east towards Riverside County. Evacuation orders and warnings were issued. Overnight, the fire grew to an estimated 8,500 acres, and by mid-morning on Tuesday had blackened another 500 acres. Our objective is to keep it on this side of the main divide so it doesn't go into Riverside County, Holiday said. How are firefighters battling the fire? Around 1,000 fire personnel were battling the blaze, aided by aircraft that have been making water drops continuously since the fire broke out. We have a really robust air attack going on today, Holiday said. The fire has followed the pattern of most major blazes over the years, fire officials said, which tend to break out near the 91 freeway or Holy Jim Canyon and then move through other canyon communities. The fire is burning just like we predicted, Holiday said. While the conditions in the burn area are still hot and dry, the temperature has dropped 10 degrees or so compared to Monday, officials said, though the winds have picked up slightly. On Monday, 2 firefighters suffered heat-related injuries, while a civilian also suffered an unspecified injury. All 3 were treated and released, officials said. No injuries have been reported overnight or on Tuesday. Fire officials say they were aware of 36 recreational cabins in Holy Jim and Trabuco Canyons. They don't believe anyone is in the area, but have been unable to get into the area to assess how much damage occurred. Wesley McComb, who said his cabin was burned down yesterday, questioned why fire retardant was not dropped on the area. San Diego Peak is not only a visual icon for the region, it is home to communication towers for public safety, telecommunications, and broadcasters. All night, firefighting efforts saved those towers. On the heels of the Orange County Board of Supervisors declaring a local state of emergency in response to the airport fire Tuesday, 6 Southern California lawmakers urged Governor Gavin Newsom to do the same at the state level. In a letter to Newsom Tuesday afternoon, Reps Young Kim, Republican Anaheim Hills, Ken Calvert, Republican Corona, Lou Correa, Democrat Anaheim, Michelle Steele, Republican Seal Beach, Mike Levin, Democrat San Juan Capistrano, and Katie Porter, Democrat Irvine, said a state of emergency in Orange and Riverside Canyon counties would permit expedited federal assistance to the impacted area. The Orange County Board of Supervisors has already declared a local state of emergency, and state resources, combined with federal support, will help our communities respond and recover from this devastating fire, the lawmakers wrote. This would unlock federal support to suppress the fire and keep our communities safe. Newsom has already declared a state of emergency in San Bernardino County for the line fire. Airport fire evacuations. Evacuation orders were issued around 3 p.m. Monday for residents along Meander Lane and to the Robinson Ranch community. O'Neill Regional Campgrounds were also closed. Evacuation warnings were issued by CAL FIRE for an area in the Santa Ana Mountains in Riverside County east of the fire. The warning was for an area east of the Orange County line, west of the 15 freeway, south of Bedford Motorway, and north of Ortega Highway. School and road closures. Some school districts closed schools Tuesday with a fire burning, including all schools in the Lake Elsinore Unified School District, officials said. The Corona Norco Unified School District closed Wilson, Temescal Valley, and Todd Elementary Schools, while the Saddleback Valley Unified School District closed Robinson and Trabuco Elementary Schools. Santa Margarita Catholic High School in Rancho Santa Margarita, above the canyon where the fire started, will not hold classes on Tuesday, September 10th either. The campus was not under threat, but school officials said, "We are taking this precaution for the safety and well-being of our community," noting that there were evacuation notices for nearby areas. Road closures in Orange County included Plano Trabuco Road and Joshua Drive, Plano Trabuco Road and Robinson Ranch Road, Antonio Parkway and Alas de Paz, Trabuco Canyon and Trabuco Creek Roads, Santa Margarita and Antonio Parkways, Avenida Impresa and Santa Margarita Parkway, and Santiago Canyon Road and Live Oak Canyon Road. A shelter was set up for evacuated residents at the Rancho Santa Margarita Bell Tour Regional Community Center located on El Paseo in Rancho Santa Margarita. Animal shelters were also available one for large animals at the Orange County Fairgrounds in Costa Mesa and the other in Ralph's parking lot at 31481 Santa Margarita Parkway. Proponents hope Prop 145 will ease rural veterinary shortage. Colorado voters will decide in November whether the state gets a vet professional assistant program. This article is by Jeff Rice from the Sterling Journal-Advocate. A leading Colorado animal welfare champion hopes a ballot initiative she's working on will eventually lead to better veterinary care coverage for farmers and ranchers. Dr. April Steele, President and CEO of Colorado Dumb Friends League, told the Journal-Advocate Thursday that ballot measure to expand veterinary care in Colorado, which would establish the new veterinary professional associate role, has been assigned the title Proposition 145. Steele's organization is partnering with the Vet Care Coalition to promote the ballot initiative. Asked whether the proposition, if passed, would help ease the critical shortage of large animal veterinarians in rural Colorado, Steele said agricultural vet service has been part of the conversation all along. The shortage of veterinarians in rural Colorado is probably the biggest concern in animal welfare that's been known for many years, Steele said. We know a lot of people from rural Colorado want to go to vet school, but there are so many people competing for the positions that are open. The vet shortage has become a national problem in agricultural America. 3 years ago, the U.S. Department of Agriculture identified 196 veterinary shortage areas in 41 states, including 8 areas in Colorado that encompass 25 Colorado counties. The USDA is now offering a student loan repayment program to address the problem. Colorado State University, meanwhile, is working on addressing the vet shortage through its program. In April, CSU released an article by Christopher Outcalt announcing the groundbreaking on a $230 million expansion of the vet medicine facility that is scheduled to open in the fall of 2026 and will allow, among other things, an additional 30 students into each class. But there's no guarantee that any of these 30 students will build their careers in the Colorado livestock industry. In that same article, Dr. Chad Johannes, director of CSU's Veterinary Teaching Hospital, told Outcalt salaries are often significantly lower in rural communities than in urban and suburban veterinary medicine. That's a hard part of large animal medicine right now, Johannes said. How do you incentivize someone, even if they're from rural America, to go back and stay when they can earn a lot more as a small animal veterinarian? CSU has already attempted to address this gap by partnering with the state of Colorado on a veterinary education loan repayment program for Doctor of Veterinary Medicine graduates who agree to work up to 4 years in rural Colorado communities. The program, launched in 2017, initially offered $70,000 in loan forgiveness. Last year, the legislature expanded the program to offer $90,000 for up to 6 students. Even with a new facility still 2 years away and reforms in the vet education program, CSU's plans won't start providing dividends in rural Colorado for years yet. Steele hopes Prop 145 can start providing relief to vet short areas sooner than that. Under the Prop 145 plan, VPAs will be highly trained professionals with a specialized master's degree, ensuring they are well trained and equipped to provide high-quality care. VPAs would work under the supervision of licensed veterinarians. The ballot issue isn't without its detractors, however. Steele said that while many veterinarians privately like the idea, the Colorado Veterinary Medical Association officially opposes it. They don't want anyone but a DVM making diagnoses and prescribing medicines, she said. At the very least, they want direct supervision, but that's just not possible in rural areas. It would have to be indirect supervision. That would be doable, Steele said, because of modern communications technology, and indirect supervision is already defined by law. Another hurdle would be the U.S. Food and Drug Administration, which doesn't allow anyone but a DVM to prescribe medications. Nonetheless, the initiative has garnered widespread support from local veterinary professionals, pet owners, and animal welfare advocates. Ali Mickelson, president of the Colorado Vet Care Coalition, said that support reflects a strong public desire for improved access to veterinary care. Recent polls indicate robust backing for the measure, highlighting the community's commitment to enhancing access to high-quality and affordable care for animals. Mickelson said, "The introduction of the veterinary PA position represents a significant step forward in veterinary care, ensuring that pets across Colorado receive timely and expert attention while supporting our dedicated veterinarians." Thank you for joining us for the Sterling News, read by Nefeli Schneider.
If you enjoyed this program, please register for our free services at www.aftersight.org or by calling 303-786-7777.